The biting chill of a mountain night sank into my bones, even through the cozy walls of my tent. My heart pounded in time with the flickering shadows cast by the dying campfire, the tales of old wilderness horrors echoing in my mind. Only a few moments ago, my friends had taken turns spinning campfire ghost stories. A tradition, they'd said, unlocks the true spirit of the camping experience. A mile away, at the foot of the rocky escarpment, our cars waited in the deserted parking lot. Above us, the moonless sky pulsed with an iridescent sheen, Milky Way spiraling into eternity. The vast, dark expanse only amplified our isolation. We were 8 strong, with Dave, a self-proclaimed survivalist, leading our troop. Hiking, camping, and roasting marshmallows were the ideal ways to celebrate the beginning of summer, or so we thought. Night came quick, and with it the tales started. Some were predictable, Old Man Jenkins haunting the local mine. Others were more original, beasts of legend, stalking our shadows. We laughed them off, the stories were entertainment, harmless fun. But then Dave, quiet till now, started his story. His tone was different, not aiming for a jovial fright. He talked about the listener, a creature that hunted not by sight, smell, or touch, but by sound. It lurked in the darkness, attracted to the echoes of human voices. The more you spoke, the closer it got, till it found its way to you. Dave's tale sent an uneasy hush over the group, like a chilling mountain wind. We laughed nervously, accusing him of trying to put a damper on the night. Dave just shrugged, tossing another log onto the fire. Unsettled, I decided to call it a night. I wasn't scared, or so I told myself. It was just the wind, the darkness, the unfamiliar noises. But in the solitude of my tent, Dave's story nagged at me. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, every sound felt amplified, the rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, the soft murmur of my friends still by the fire. And an echo, or perhaps just the wind. I zipped up my sleeping bag, trying to silence the outside world. But then I heard it, footsteps. Soft, deliberate. One by one they approached, leaving a dreadful silence in their wake. My heart raced, beating a frantic tempo against my ribs. I was frozen, straining my ears to distinguish the sounds of the night. The steps grew louder, then stopped. Right outside my tent. Every rational fiber of my brain screamed at me, just one of my friends, probably nature's call. But in the heart of the wilderness, Dave's story clung to me like a second skin. I held my breath, the deafening silence ringing in my ears. Suddenly, a raspy whisper filled the air, echoing around the campsite.
Is anyone there?
It was not a voice I recognized, human yet strange, devoid of any warmth. It called again, louder, closer. Fear gripped me, its icy fingers squeezing my heart. I dared not answer. I dared not move. The listener was real, I was sure of it. It was drawn to us, drawn to the echoes of our voices, and now it was here. Panic surged within me. I had to warn the others. Summoning my courage, I forced myself to my knees, crawling towards my phone. Just as I picked it up, my tent's flap rustled. A shadow spread across the canvas, followed by the touch of something cold and rough. I choked back a scream as I dialed Dave's number, praying for him to pick up. It felt like an eternity until he answered. In a whisper, I urged him to be quiet and return to his tent, recounting the voice and the shadow. Silence. Then, Dave answered, confusion straining his voice.
But we're all here, around the fire. We never left.
His words hit me like a punch, my blood turning to ice. Frantic, I ended the call, my terrified gaze fixed on the shadow. It lingered, silent and ominous. Then, the voice came again.
Is anyone there?
I shuddered, gripping my phone tighter, tears welling in my eyes. Silently, I prayed for dawn, for escape. I remained trapped in my tent, every second an agonizing eternity. The shadow faded with the first rays of sunlight, the voice falling silent. Only then did I dare to breathe, my terror subsiding with the darkness. The morning revealed an ordinary campsite, tents, fire pit, the comforting sounds of my friends. But etched into the dirt outside my tent was a message, words that turned my blood cold, confirming my night of terror. I heard you. From that day forward, the wilderness lost its charm. The horror of that night, the listener, still lurks in my mind, turning campfires and tents into symbols of an inescapable nightmare. It was a grim reminder that some stories are best left untold, especially when you're far from the safety of civilization.